Kamehameha! Kamehameha! Dragon Ball FighterZ, arguably the best AAA Dragon Ball Z game to come to the Western Hemisphere. In my opinion, it's an odd bag. As someone who isn't a fighting game enthusiast, but I can appreciate them, though I don't play them often. And as someone who can admittedly say that he has been a fan of the Dragon Ball series for longer than most people have been alive. And let's just be real between you and me and people who really are into Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Super is a hot mess, at least the anime. I mean, the continuity doesn't make sense, the power levels are off the charts, in the sense of it doesn't make sense in Dragon Ball lore. But whatever, let's skip all that and pay attention to the game itself. At first glance, it seems to share a lot of commonalities with most fighting games today. The easy button mashing combos, and it does have a more flashy look. I guess that's to make Dragon Ball FighterZ more visually appealing for people watching it than the standard sort of fighter. If you're looking for something that's like, I don't know, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 or 2, or any Marvel vs. Capcom that predates any of the recent iterations, you're probably not going to find it here. Though the weaker button combos can be misleading, there is deeper substance to be found with enough time, practice, and paying attention to more advanced players fight. There are the auto combos and the manual combos, both of which are similar yet very different in the way they work in the game. An auto combo doesn't build your gauge meter that well, but it guarantees that you will hit. The manual combo carries far more risks, but it's far more rewarding when you can actually pull off a 13-hit combo that goes into multiple supers on your own. There's something so gratifying when you actually pull it off. Maybe later in the video I'll get deeper into auto and manual combos. Let's focus on the game at hand. The story mode is honestly odd, this much I can assure you. Unless you're really into Dragon Ball Z, the story mode probably won't interest you much. It'll be kind of confusing and at times cheesy. But that's the nature of Japanese anime in general, especially Dragon Ball. The later iterations. What I will say that lacks from these Dragon Ball Z games is the, blood, broken bones, or anything a bit slightly more gory. Not saying Dragon Ball Z was ever gory, but at least when someone took a beating, they bled somewhere. Now it's kind of like it's non-existent. And maybe that's just a gripe for another time. The story mode is lengthy. It can take you quite a bit of time to get through all 3 arcs, and the true story isn't really revealed till the 3rd arc. The first arc is the usual gang of Dragon Ball, the 2nd arc centers around the villains, and the 3rd arc centers around the androids. As much as I'd like to spoil the story for you, I guess I better not, just in case there are people who actually care. But overall, it's okay. It can be tedious at times, a little bit boring, and the game has these little knickknacks in the story mode that sort of initiate when you have certain player combos in certain areas. A little extra story comes out, more companion dynamics.
それにしても本当に悪趣味ですね。まして自分のクローンなどこんな醜悪なもの見たくもありませんよ。こうして存在していること自体許しがたいです。しかしここで見つけたのも何かの縁。私の手で消し去ってあげましょう。こんなものを放置しておいては私の評判に傷がつきかねませんからね。コピーが本物に勝てるわけがありません。それを証明してあげましょう。
かい、アムちゃん。あんたはもう戦わないんだと思ってたよ。
まあな、俺だってそのつもりだったさ。だけどよ、こんな状況で逃げ出すわけにもいかないだろ。武道家を引退しちまった俺がどれだけ役に立てるかわからないけどな。
どれだけ役に立てるかわからない。へえ、あんた自分のことをよくわかってるじゃないか。
まったく、人造人間は言うことが冷たいぜ。
悔しかったら 少しでも強くなることだね。
く言い返せない。マーロンが性格まで母親にだったらクリリンも苦労するだろうな。
なんだって？
なんでもないなんでもない。さあとっとと戦おうぜ。
Sort of expose themselves and become relevant. This is slightly interesting for all the people who want to find those Easter eggs, but they are kind of buried. I'm not saying it's impossible to find them, but you have to be dedicated to story mode to do it. Trying to take out every clone in the game is boring in the story mode. You get a little sleepy, in my opinion. For as many clones as you defeat, it increases your link with whatever character you're using, whether it's Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, etc. The link events are, at some point the character talks to you about what you're doing in the game and how you're fighting.
少しは私の体を使いこなせるようになったようだね。でももう少し攻撃を受けないように工夫しなよ。私は普通の人間よりは丈夫だけど、別に不死身ってわけじゃないんだ。怪我を怖がってほしいわけじゃないけど、もう少し気を使えってあんまりひどい扱いするなら後で慰謝料をきっちり請求するからね。
I doubt that it's tailored to each individual player or a player archetype. You know, some people are bruisers, some people are more tactical, etc. Honestly, it's just an Easter egg. So if you're out to beat this 100%, it leaves you with a lot of content to discover and gives you a reason to fight all of those clones, which honestly can become very, very, very repetitive. In addition to being able to edit your team, there are also active skills that you can use in a fight. You get 3. Anything from attack power up to SP attack power up, defense up, health up, Zenny up, XP up, key fill up, whatever floats your boat. There's a multitude to unlock, and honestly, when playing through normal mode, they don't seem that useful. I think that they are probably shine the brightest is when you're in hard mode. Hard mode is no joke, honestly. I like hard mode. You spend so much time in there, you think players are going to be that hard, and then you get into the game and you find people your rank aren't as hard as hard mode. Hell, after the beating you take in hard mode, players almost seem easy at the lower ranks, up until probably Super Saiyan. You don't get to pick what characters you use? That sucks. Because I don't know how to use Trunks. Get out of me.
All or nothing!
Oh, my combo broke. What the fuck? Fucking use Trunks. Whoops. Oh, you can't block that, huh? This actually gets your energy up. Because I'm nervous. Oh, nicely done. Oh, I missed. He's got 3 up on him. That's fucking my heart. I broke it. Ah, fuck. This is truly a scrub match. I played like shit. I played like pure shit. I got lucky.
Vegeta! Win!
Another boon about Dragon Ball Super is this. At least characters are unlockable in this game. I mean, playing the arcade mode, playing the story mode can unlock characters. Old school style. Remember back in the day when you actually play a game and unlock the bosses versus now it's a microtransaction? There are no microtransactions in this game. And for that reason alone, I say the game should be applauded. And frankly, I'm most likely going to buy the DLC due to the fact that the game doesn't have any pervasive microtransactions. And it's interesting enough to where I want to see what the new characters are about. Even though the character architects are pretty much 2 rows. A, you have the characters that can easily knock up enemies and prolong a combo. And B, there are characters that you can't knock up because they only have a downward thrust attack, which leads you to needing to use their special attacks to prolong the combo into something a bit more devastating, such as Yamcha and Frieza are 2 characters to come to mind that have that sort of attack style. I didn't do any video showing combos with them because I haven't worked with them much recently. And I will say that the game has enough to offer to make it not intimidating to someone new to fighting games, and to make it worth the while to someone like me who isn't really into a sort of easy fighting game. I can appreciate what's there, surprisingly. I will say that every move can be executed. If you can do the Hadouken, you can do any special move in Dragon Ball Super. They've made it very, very accessible. Part of me thinks it's fine because they have to have mass appeal because Dragon Ball is huge, man. And the other part of me is kind of like, it makes the game a little too easy. A perfect Dragon Ball game that comes to mind that doesn't hold your hand but seems rewarding even though it's very punishing is the fan-made Hyper Dragon Ball Z. That game is just straight up vicious, but it's still enjoyable. And I was playing that before this game was even announced, before I even knew it existed until E3. If you're looking for a game that requires more of you in a fighter that's Dragon Ball related, the fan-made game is where you want to go. But Dragon Ball Z Fighter, or FighterZ, whatever you want to call it, has a lot to offer, and it's the first genuinely solid Dragon Ball AAA game in well over a decade, in my opinion. Now for some cons. All of them probably won't be cons or deal breakers for anyone else, but there are things that I didn't get or were glaring issues. The lesser offender really is the hub world. I don't quite get it. These little chibi characters, you go and buy some capsules and unlock yourself some little costumes or avatars. I have yet to figure out what the premium Z coins are for. Maybe it'll come to fruition later on, as I only have 8 and I haven't delved much into it. I find most of it kind of like, meh. It really doesn't interest me. I guess the hub world was made to be a bit more interactive between matches, because there's one thing you're going to find out while playing Z Fighter Online, it's this. Waiting for matches could take a while, matches drop pretty easily, the connection can be horrible at times. Oh, God. What the? Oh, he fucking got away. Just let me do that stupid shit. What you got? Oh, wrong side. There is definitely frame drop. Almost dropped. Yeah, it's definitely frame dropping. Oh, I fucked up. I was looking at the wrong screen. Oh shit! You got lucky there. I'm gonna pay for that. What? What? Are you serious? You can't be serious. And it does really kind of suck. I mean, the level of waiting you could do for a match it's disheartening to say the least. And it becomes boring because you kind of want to get into a match immediately. Most games of this nature, or even others like first-person shooters, let's say Overwatch, have no issues with people getting on. This is most likely due to the fact that Dragon Ball Z Fighter is so popular that the developers and the publishers had no idea that this was going to do so well. I guess it's because the Eastern market isn't quite sure of how big a fan base Americans are for their media and video games. They sort of underestimate it greatly all the time. Nintendo is a perfect example of an Eastern company underestimating the demand for their products in the Western Hemisphere. So maybe the matchmaking and issues like that are due to these problems, and Bandai Namco have said they are working on servers, so on and so forth. So this is probably only going to be a temporary issue. In time, getting into matches probably won't take so long, and the connection won't be so spotty at best with the drop frame rates and so on and so forth. I do find it insanely easy to drop combos in arcade mode on hard, and sometimes I feel like the auto combo feature gets in the way of your manual combo at times. And there's the added fact that you could definitely put in the button prompt for a special attack and end up doing the reflect or slap away attack, which actually is extremely effective in a lot of cases. If you time it right, you can slap away someone's entire super alt. You could slap away a charge, you could slap away attacks. There's a lot that does. It's a little OP, but the timing is odd. I have to delve deeper into it to really learn the mechanics of the game. There is a training mode in this game, which gives you the basics, and it gives you 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 combos that are slightly more advanced than the basic auto combos, which can be very useful. So once you learn how to do manual combos, you could pepper in these like 3 or 4 extra little combos that the game teaches you. And some of them are quite complicated, depending on the character. Timing is everything. And I'm one of those people who have to keep spamming the button prompts to try and get it to go through, because I can't perfectly just press, X, Y, YB, back, forward, B, YB, X, at the right time where it's clean. I have to mash it in there and then mash in the next one to try and get the move through. You don't have to do it, but my timing is just crap. I never was very punctual. Maybe now's the time for some closing thoughts. In my opinion, Dragon Ball FighterZ is the best AAA Dragon Ball fighting game in years. And if you've had a history of Dragon Ball Z games, you know how bad they've been since the 2D era. I liked Dragon Ball GT Final Bout, the first print. A lot of people didn't, and it was marginally better than the previous iteration. I haven't liked a AAA mainstream Dragon Ball Z game this much since Dragon Ball Z Legends, dude. That was an import, by the way. Some like Dragon Ball Budokai. I didn't. Some like Dragon Ball Tenkaichi. I didn't. Dragon Ball Xenoverse was barely tolerable. It truly captures the essence of a Dragon Ball Z game, in my personal opinion. And I would highly recommend it for anyone that is a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. This is it, essentially. Anyone who eats, shits, and breathes Dragon Ball Z is going to love this. Anyone who's even a passing fan of Dragon Ball and likes fighting games will love this. Anyone who likes the current iteration of most fighting games right now, from BlazBlue to Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Infinite, this is right up your alley, I'd say. For the casual fan of Dragon Ball Z, it's possible that you might be interested in it, depending on how much you care for it. And the fact that the arcade mode, I feel, is challenging enough to keep people playing with it. I feel that the story mode is lengthy enough for you to play it for a prolonged period of time, especially if you try to become a completionist and get everything on normal and hard. The game will not play with you on hard, that's for sure. But for the average passerby with little to no interest in Dragon Ball, I don't think this would be worth your time. In the end, it depends on how big of a fan you are of the current fighting game genre. For the 100% purist of the days of old, this might not do it for you simply because of the ease of access. Yes, the more advanced combos can be tricky and require skill, but with enough practice and repetition, you can pull them off without any major hassle. The fact that super moves are easily accessible makes it so that even the worst player could be a threat if you make a mistake. I guess for my personal opinion, I could give this a 4.0 to a 4.5 out of 5. Or a 9.0 out of 10. Whatever scale you want to tickle your dick on, this is it. I will probably be playing this game for a long time to come, because I enjoy it on a few levels. It just gives me that simple gratification of bashing away at an enemy and the Dragon Ball lore. There are 8 more characters coming to DLC. I have no clue what they're going to be. I could only imagine, because Dragon Ball has a long history of great characters, so many to choose from that I feel 8 just isn't enough, in my personal opinion. This game could support a 40 character roster and I'd be happy. I would like to see more skins for characters, if you will. Different clothing for Android 16 and 17. Juhajigo-san, if you want to be Japanese about it, or Weeaboo. Goku has had many different iterations in costumes. It would be cool to see clothes tattered in fights. It would be cool to see the shirtless version of Goku, where his clothes are all ripped up after fighting with Frieza. It'd be interesting to see mechanical Frieza. It would be interesting to see Trunks in the Saiyan outfit, or Goku and Gohan, Kid Gohan, etc. There's a lot that could be added to this game that could only bring more substance. The possibilities are limitless. And I have a strong feeling that this will not be the last Dragon Ball Fighter game at all, due to the success it seems to be receiving. And I'm going to check out here. I know I talked far too long. I don't usually do game reviews, so it might become a thing I might just possibly do. I might not. It all depends on if the community wants to see more stuff like this. And I will go back to my usual fare of chewing on the ass of Xbots. Rate, comment, subscribe if you so choose to. If not, to hell with it, that's perfectly fine with me. I can't ask anyone to give more of a shit than me in the age of apathy. But if you so choose to follow me on all the social media platforms that are in my links and descriptions, you only make my voice louder in an industry that could use more men like me, instead of yes men. By the way, I didn't receive this copy for free or anything, I bought it, so I genuinely feel this way about the game. You know, just in case anybody thought I was shilling or something. Believe me, Bandai Namco does not care for me one bit, much like Corsair. And on that note, I'm out of here. Adios, muchachos. Kamehameha!